Sits up front, don't be shy. Okay, let me welcome you to our lecture tonight. Thank you for being here. Welcome to all of you that are in the class. Welcome to our MBA students that are joining us tonight. And welcome to any visitors. You're always welcome. There's lots of room. You can come every week. Bring whoever you'd like to come. We have a great evening planned tonight. Two of my very favorite people, role models that I look up to, Reverend Jay Ragsdale and Toni Ragsdale. And Tate is going to introduce them in just a minute. But they are amazing people. They've done so much good for the state of Utah, particularly Salt Lake City. And they've built a really unique and amazing organization through partnerships. They've gotten the whole community to feel like their project is the community's project. So they're going to talk a little bit more about that. But let me turn the time over to Tate. He's going to make a quick announcement and then introduce our guests.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. First, I have a quick announcement about an event. Oh, this isn't on. 1 second. There we go. Does anybody like tacos? Ooh, oh, there's a few hands. Okay, so the Entrepreneurship Center will be holding a taco social this coming Monday in Huntsman Hall, Perry Pavilion from 3 to 6. Yes, 3 to 6. So come and get some tacos and learn about, obviously you know about ELS, you're here. But come learn about SEED and the Entrepreneurship Minor and all the other things that the Entrepreneurship Center has to offer. So go ahead, take pictures. I'm going to leave there for 2 seconds. Come talk to us after if you have any questions. Okay, but what an awesome opportunity we have tonight to hear from the Ragsdales. It's going to be such a cool opportunity to hear from some of the most uplifting and generous people definitely around. They are the directors of the Fill the Pot ministry, which is down in Salt Lake. I'm sure lots of you have passed Pioneer Park and seen maybe even some of the homeless that they've been serving for years and years and years, generously all week long for countless years, more years than I've been in school, way more, tons, and I've been in school a long time. But not only does the ministry provide food and clothes, it provides educational courses. It helps people get back on their feet. It's not just here, take this and get out of here. Rather, it's a come and fill your spirit. Come and fill this opportunity and be on your way and hopefully, and I'm sure with hundreds of people, providing better lives for all of them. But first, we're going to start with a video. And then after, I want the best round of applause for some of the most amazing guests we've ever had. But let's start with a video.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is a good morning.
Hi, I'm Reverend Jay Ragsdale, and I'm the founder of this Fill the Pot ministry, and me and my wife's been running this ministry for the last 13 years. Why am I doing this? One of the reasons is my brother was homeless. Now, he didn't start off homeless. He was doing pretty good. He just got a divorce, got on drugs, and he was doing bad. He became homeless. He called me out one day and he was just telling me a story about how he lived in his 2-story house in Pioneer Park. And I thought it was impossible that you could live in a 2-story in Pioneer Park. You know, I said, Lee, what they do, tear the park down and build you a house? He goes, nah, man, I just put me 2 piano boxes together and I have an apartment. And he said, I'm okay. And I was like, man, I gotta help you out. So I went to help my brother out. And right after I helped him out, we moved back to California and things were going pretty well for him. Things started going really bad for me. I was going through a divorce and I was at rock bottom in my life at that time. He got in his car from Salt Lake City and went to California, picked me up, put me in his house, and got me back on my feet. Me and my brother, we promised to give back. And we talked about we're gonna do AA classes and work on people that's on drugs and people that's homeless, and that was our biggest dream. And I told him, I said, I'll do the homeless part and you do the AA part. And I got a job and I was out in Layton. I got a phone call and they told me that my brother was dead. He had died of a heart attack. It was hard because we had a promise that, you know, there was somebody that helped me get on my feet. Now, I mean, so I'm sorry. Excuse me. I decided no matter what, I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna do this dream that me and him had. And that's what I did, I kept going. All right, listen up, everybody. We might be the only person all week that said something nice to somebody outside, okay? So when they come in, hey, how you doing? Offer them the food. Don't give it to them if they don't ask for it. If they ask for it, we give it to them, okay? I stayed in this night and I promised that I was gonna feed the homeless and take care of the homeless, you know? And we said out here, if one person helped one person, this world would be in a lot better shape. How many of you guys know the motto out here? Come on, help me out here. If one person help one person, this world will be in a lot better shape. Amen? Amen. And that's what we're about. We're just about trying to help each other out, man.
It's kind of like, that means every Sunday I get to eat something at least.
I came here because I was hungry.
They said there was food down here. I came down here and we were really happy.
Due to a lot of circumstances beyond my control, Sunday's the only time I really get to eat a good full meal all day long.
When we first started off in Pioneer Park, we started off with nothing. We started off with just some drinks, coffee, Tic Tacs, and bubble gum. It was cold. We had really rough winters, really hot summers. Everything that you see today, we done in Pioneer Park out of a trailer.
Set up every Sunday morning at 7 o'clock at the park. Had our grill here, which you can see is on wheels, and at 6:30 gather up all these tables and grills, pull them into the park.
We would load the trailer and unload the trailer no matter what the weather was. If the weather was tough, we were still delivering. And I walked that park for a long time, and then it was funny because we started off with like 10 people. We went from 10, in 2 weeks, about 35. We went from 35 to 135, and before we knew it, we just had a long line. I can tell you this, I was in that park for almost 13 years, and I kept looking at this building from day one. I went to the city and asked the city about the building. The guy said, well, we'll talk about it. We talked about it for 5 years. The 6th year came. He said, well, take a choice what building you want on this block. And he gave us this building. It's a lot different, a lot easier here. Right now, on a good average week, we can easily feed 600 people through these stores without any problem.
What I mostly do is I keep daily count of the individuals that come in and out. Today we had 436.
We never ran out of food. We might run low, but we never ran out of food. Everybody gets served. I think we have 3 different types of homeless people. We have the career homeless. They choose to live that way. They come here and eat. Some came today. They've been here for 13 years.
I've been homeless for about 13 years.
So we're gonna have the career homeless. And then we have the mental ill, and that's a different ball game. And then we just have people that just fell on hard luck, man.
I had a job for 14 years and then lost it.
I'm the result of a marriage gone bad.
I was a truck driver for over 5 years.
Trying to work and get on my feet.
My health has deteriorated to the point where I can't drive a truck now.
Just one paycheck away from being homeless, and they just lost their job.
Been homeless for off and on for about a year.
Semi-homeless for about a year.
I used to work at the mines in Nevada.
I was going to truck driving school, and then I was arrested.
You know, we have lawyers. We had some lawyers out here. We have some professors out here.
I've been encouraged each time I've been here.
We have the homeless that lost their child.
So did you say you have a baby?
Yeah, we're fighting to get him back.
We are a ministry that actually do more than just feed the homeless. We try to educate the homeless as much as we can. We have AA classes.
I love what they're doing here. So it's providing the meals and the nourishment, but also putting them on a path for the future.
You have so many people that can work. They probably can build anything you want them to build. They can't get on the computer. Some of them can't read and write, but they can work.
They have the skill, they just don't have the comprehensive or the mindset to fill applications out.
So if we can help them get in the job site and on the job site, and then that gives them the opportunity to go to work. So we want to have people here that can help you get on the computer, help you fill out your application, show you the right things to say, resumes, helping them out with their resumes. We want you to go upstairs and get online and go to school. You know, if you can't afford to go to college somewhere, you can go up here and go to school. Get your GED. Our dream and goal for this room up here is to get some shelving in here where we can line this whole entire wall with computers.
I love what they do here, where they offer assistance.
Home-cooked meals like my mama used to make.
They give us coffee, donuts.
Yeah, and it's really good food too.
They give the word of God, shed light.
Well, you know what? We get a new chance every morning. Dear Father in heaven, we come right here with our brother, Father God. We just thank you, Father God, for everything that you're doing in his life, Father God.
And they give us clothes.
Clothing started because I went out with Ragsdale one time, and there were a few women out there who needed clothing. So I went in my closet, and we started bringing clothing out, and so it grew into something like this. The clothing you see here is totally the heart of Utah. I promise you that. All this you see here is from donations of people. And so when we need something for the women's side is over here. Extra large shirts, we'll come and find this shelf. Scarves and gloves and underwear, men pants, men's shirts, blankets, shoes. So you'll see coats and stuff coming out. So this area is my project. This is my baby.
Yeah, they're awesome because they help a lot of lives.
On the back side of our building here, we have storage bins. They actually store their stuff where they don't have to walk around and carry backpacks around. So what they do is they match your name up with the name and the picture that's on this can right here. All these cans are alphabetical order, and then they'll take this can and roll it up to that table over there, and then you'll get your stuff. The greatest thing about Fill the Pot Ministry is a melting pot for all religions and all people.
We all need each other to survive.
We couldn't have made this work without the different groups that come through here.
I've been coming here since, 7, 8 years probably.
We've been volunteering here for the last 2 or 3 years.
The volunteers who come, they see what a wonderful thing this is, and the volunteers continue.
It's such a great experience for these kids.
Just want to help serve people, and it's helping the community. And
what I love about it, everybody come together.
Providing Christian service is such a wonderful way to touch and help others.
We have the LDS Church to come through here. We got Calvary Baptist Church. Without a few other churches and community services, we've probably been still stuck in the park.
I've worked with Toni very closely and Reverend Ragsdale, and they're incredible people.
They're wonderful people.
Truly Christ-like in my mind.
Reverend Jay, he reminds me of the dad I never had.
Great examples of what we as Christians should be doing and helping others. And they're here every single week and serving others.
At the end of the day, when we're sending people back home, and somebody call and say, hey, Rev, I appreciate you sending Daddy back home. Like a little kid call you and say, I appreciate you sending my dad back home. A lady call, I appreciate my husband back home. I appreciate my mom made it back home. I always said the greatest day it's gonna be is the day that it's only gonna be 2 people here in this building. And that's gonna be me and Jesus. And then we can smile because we knew that everybody's being taken care of, everything is done, And we just do it our best. That's all we're doing is our best. So it's been good. Life is good, I don't know, but it's just been good. But this is a good place to be, man. It is.
All right, hello. Can you hear me? I can barely hear myself. That video chokes me up when I see it. It's it gets to me. And I've seen it a few times, hundreds of times probably, but each time it gets to me just knowing that it's been a hard journey. It's been a tough journey for us. And I'll introduce myself. I should do that first, huh? My name is Reverend Jay Ragsdale, and I am the founder of Fill the Pot Ministry. Me and my wife, we started this ministry some 15, it's going on 16 years, because we're in a new year right now. And it's been rough, but it's been good. And one of the things I heard today, and I didn't understand about what we're doing, is when Mike was up talking about being happy and loving yourself and loving just being happy when you're at work and working with people that's happy. Because one of the greatest things that we do at Fill the Pot is that we try to be happy when we're there. We work together, we work with each other, and It was really the things you spoke about today when we were eating is a lot of things that we do, and I didn't know we did that until you actually was talking about it. Because when people come into our building, volunteers, and they lined up, I always have the volunteers introduce themselves to each other, you know. I always have them talk to each other. Because some days we at work and we work all day long, and we don't even know who we're working with. We don't know who's on our left side or our right side. And I realize that when I do that, when the people walk away, when I walk away, I hear them talking and they for some reason we work harder together when we know each other and we communicate with each other. And so, you know, that's one of the greatest things about Fill the Pot. And I'll tell you a little bit about Fill the Pot and we'll go from there. Like I said, it started about 15 years ago. And it started with me and my brother. My brother was homeless, and he didn't start off that way. He was doing pretty good. You ever meet one of those people that no matter what they did in life, they just made it happen? You go, wow, how do you do that? How do you, you know? And he was one of them type of guys. He'll pick up a can off the street, and it's 5 cents for us. Somehow he made it $20 for him. He was just that kind of guy. No matter what he touched, and no matter whose life he came in contact with, when he walked away, you know you met Lee because he just had that big of a heart. And he just hit rock bottom one day. He was going through a divorce, got on drugs, and life just went downhill for him. And I remember I was in California, and he called me up, and what did we have a conversation? He called me up because basically we had an uncle that passed away. So basically, he was calling me up about the funeral, and I was talking to him, and I was like, what's going on, man? He said, you don't sound right, Lee. He said, well, I'm doing pretty good. I said, what's going on? And, you know, family or good friends, you can talk to them, and you can hear what's going on in somebody's life. And I heard that little piece. And I said, what's going on, Lee? He said, oh, I'm doing all right, man. It's just, you know, going through some things. And I didn't know he was homeless. You know, I didn't know that my brother was homeless at all. And I said, well, what's going on? He said, well, I'm in Pioneer Park. And now he's getting a little happy because he's starting to explain to me where he's living and what's going on in his life. And that's the type of guy he was. He said, you know, I'm in Pioneer Park. And I go, okay, and last time I was in Salt Lake, I know Pioneer Park was Pioneer Park, and, you know, and he was like, no, I said, so what are you doing? He said, you know, I just got me a new place in Pioneer Park, and I was like, okay. So I'm thinking that they tore the park down and starting to build apartments and houses in there. And he's like, nah, I said, so you got your new place in Pioneer Park? And he said, yeah, I got a new place, little bro. And he was just happy. And what I'm realizing is sometimes with the homeless people, and even with the homeless kids, they're happy. I have seen that a lot, that you're not happy like they won the lottery or something, but they're happy and sometimes knowing that this is all they have and they're just happy with what they have. You know what I mean? They're just grateful for what they have. I think that's a better word to use. So I talked to Lee. I was like, so what's really going on? He said, I got me a new place. I said, okay. He said, now you guys got to see this. Now, everybody know what a piano is, right? Most of us got one in our house, a piano or organ. And he had found the boxes that go into, that you put the pianos in when you ship them. They're really huge boxes. So he had found 2 of them, and he put them together. Like, he stacked them up, put them together, took a knife, cut windows in them and all that good stuff. And he built him a 2-story apartment that he called his apartment, which was just 2 huge piano boxes. And he was living in there. He was living in that box. And he had this little semi-job. He was the type of guy that goes out and just was recycling things. And that's what he did while he was homeless. And so I was talking to him. I was like, Lee, I'll be down there to see you. So the following weekend, I drove all the way from California out here to find him. And it took me a couple of days to find him. I see his house, but I never seen him in it, you know, for a while. And I kept driving around. And I finally found him a couple of days later. And I was like, man, you can't live like this, big bro. And I picked him up and we went to California. And I took him back to my house and I got him in AA classes. And I found myself going to AA classes as well. And I didn't know why. I'm like, I'm not on drugs or nothing like that. But now I realize why I was going to them AA classes. Because in order to help anybody grow, you have to know what's going on. Just like a business. You can't just go around a business if you don't know nothing about your business at all, right? You have to know something about that. And so in order for me to be able to help people that was on drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, I went to AA class not knowing that I was teaching myself something. I was just going because I was calling myself hanging out with my brother. But I learned a lot about what it takes to be on drugs, what it takes to get off drugs. And so I learned all that. And so we sit there in AA for a while in California, and he was doing pretty good. And he decided he'd just come back to Salt Lake because he loves Salt Lake. Who don't? I mean, I like Utah. And he came back here, and a couple months later, he called me up. He said, what's going on, bro? I said, I'm doing good. I'm asking him how he's doing. He's doing fine. I mean, everything's working out for him. He started a recycling center in a field. Now, he was pretty good at it because when he was homeless, he was recycling things. And then when he got back here, a guy, his neighbor, gave him a field, and he started making a recycling center in that field. So he started his own business, and believe me or not, his business took off. It's because he knew how to recycle. He knew what stuff was when he was down in the trenches. He learned about different metals and different things like that. So he was doing really, really good. He living off the Wasatch Mountain, and he was doing good. But I wasn't. I was going through a divorce. I had a couple kids that was driving me crazy. And I was just having a hard time in life. I mean, I was hitting rock bottom myself, and I was doing really, really bad. And somehow he called me. He said, hey, little bro, how you doing? I was like, I'm doing good, man. Getting ready to go to work. And he's like, what's going on? And I explained it to him because I was one of those guys I didn't never want to share anything. I didn't want to tell nobody I'm going through a divorce. I didn't want to tell nobody that, man, I'm just hitting rock bottom right now. And he came and picked me up. Same trip. We went from California to Utah, same trip. And I didn't think much about it. I was just like, he's going to help me out. I didn't even think he's going to help me out. I'm still thinking I'm on top. That's how my brain was working. And he brought me all the way back here. And I remember just before I walked in his house, and he had hands like a bear, and he just stopped me and he said, hold on, little bruh. I was like, it's 2:00 in the morning, man. I drove, you slept. And he stopped me right there at his front door. I'm like, it's a long ways to come not to be able to come in your house. But that wasn't it. He was like, we don't do drugs. We're not on alcohol. We don't do none of that stuff in my house. And if you got any drugs or anything on you, I'm telling you right now, you won't be able to come in my house. But I didn't have no drugs or nothing like that. And I was just like, well, you should have told me that way down the road, just in case if I was on drugs or alcohol, I wouldn't have been at your house, at 2:00 in the morning. But it was okay. I understand where he was going. But anyway, after a little while later, me and him started talking about working with people that's on drugs and working with people that's homeless. And I didn't quite understand how we was going to get this going, but me and him talked about it. We was working on it, and then my brother up and passed away on me. Now, when he passed away, I was like, wow, I mean, what am I going to do now? So I had to get a new partner. I recruited this lady right here to be my new partner, and it was rough. It was hard. But I understood what it takes for people to get off drugs because I went to AA. He even made me go to AA when I went to his house. I went to AA 3 times a week at his house, but it was school. It was a class. It was something that I was learning to be able to build the business that we have right now. And so I want the AA. Man, he had midnight AAs. He had all kind of AAs. I was like, Lee, I'm good. Well, I went to a lot of AA classes, a lot. And so he passed away, and I got my new partner right here. And me and her just kept the dream alive. And we started Fill the Pot Ministry. And we push a lot of people through them doors. We just don't feed the homeless. We feed people that's just down on their luck, people that just need some help. You know, when COVID showed up, we were the only people in Salt Lake City in that area that was, well, the whole city pretty much. Everything shut down. And I told the wife, I said, we're still going out and take care of these homeless people or whoever's down on their luck. And she said, you going to jail? You know, because they had all kind of laws. You couldn't go out and help people. And I was like, I stayed steadfast, I believe, you know, and I just kept going. I kept moving. I kept pushing it. And we never went to jail. We seen the cops driving around, but nothing never happened. But overall, Fill the Pot is it's a great ministry. It's a ministry that actually give back and help people. We believe in, if any one of you guys ever showed up and Fill the Pot, we like working with people one-on-one, if that makes any sense. We can be a big company, a lot bigger than what we are. We could be doing a whole lot of stuff, but I like the mom and pop type work feel. And the reason why is because I get to know everybody that comes through them doors. I get to know the homeless people that come through them doors. I know each and every homeless person that come through there on a personal basis. I get out and I talk to them. I shake hands with them. I hug them. I talk to them just like I would talk to you guys. And it's the same way with our volunteers. And the volunteers come in there and they get in line to start serving. I make sure each volunteer know each person that they're standing next to, because I think that's important. I think you should know who you're standing next to. I think you should know who you're working with. Because if you know who you're working with, you can laugh and have a good time with that person and not just be so grumpy just going because that person's standing there next to you. But that's what we do. We touch hearts. And we have realized as long as we touch in people's hearts, you can change the world just with kindness. You can change the world with good words. You can change this. Man, my job, and I know I'm kind of jumping around, but I drive a truck and I do concrete work. That's what I do. And most of those guys are mad, angry. They want their stuff right now. And you get into an atmosphere that is, I call it toxic sometimes. But you gotta, and then when I leave that toxic place and I go on to Fill the Pot, that's a different atmosphere because we're loving, we're caring about people. And so sometimes when I'm in that atmosphere at work, I gotta remember who I am. And I realize that if I act like, I'm just gonna say you, but I'm messing with you, right? I'm saying if I act like someone else that I'm on a job site with because he's being a sailor, you know what I mean? Acting like a sailor, talking like a sailor. If I get in that same atmosphere and then I begin to change. And I don't know why that works like that, but sometimes we get in the work feel or we get in the same atmosphere as somebody else and we start to act like somebody else. You ever seen that happen? Yeah, sometimes we just change our lives. But one of the greatest things is that working with Fill the Pot, I learned to be humble. I learned that even if I'm working with somebody that have that toxic atmosphere, because in the Fill the Pot ministry, the homeless people, some of them have a really toxic atmosphere at times. But we have learned that more we talk to them, the more we deal with them, the more we let them know that we love them and we care about them and we see them, they start to change their lives. They start to come into building humble. They come in our building, they kind of happy, like, hey, how you doing, Rev? And you can see them at a store. You can see them somewhere else in their life that's going on, and you can see the happiness and love that they have. So we just try to help people with love, kind, and happiness. And we're happy. I kid you not. I could be out of energy, no power in my body. And when I get to Fill the Pot ministry, I just fire up because I'm in a good atmosphere. I fire up because I'm around good people. And I just tell you guys, no matter what goes on in your life, if you get in a place where you with somebody with good energy and it would help you move farther. Me and my wife, we are one great team together. We are. We have problems like everybody else have problems. That's just life. No, we don't. But we have sometimes, we can, she probably get a little ticked, but sometimes we can be, as a husband and wife, going like this, right? But as we get into that building and we get into the right atmosphere, we're like a machine. We start running together. We start working together. We start being strong because we feed off each other's joy and happiness. And that's what makes a great, Fill the Pot so great. But guys, we are just about giving back, helping each other. Yeah, our biggest motto out there at Fill the Pot is one person, help one person, help one person. And I truly believe this, that the world will be in a lot better shape. And it's been tough, it's been rough, but we pushed and we pushed hard to make this ministry grow. We have so many people that's in the around the valley. Even when we have a big group that comes from here that goes down to Salt Lake every couple months, they bring tons and tons of clothes. They bring they bring a good atmosphere. And that's what changed this life. It's just good atmosphere and people that's just loving on each other. And I think as long as we love on each other and treat everybody the same, that's the main thing in life. We got to look, everybody that walks in that door, we treat them the same. We look at them the same. There's no difference. And I tell each and every person that come and share with us, I don't care how tall you are, how wide you are, how short you are, we're all the same. And we got to treat the people on the other side the same that comes in to eat. Now, I haven't kicked nobody off the line yet, but if somebody raised their hand and said, well, I'm not the same as those guys out there, I might ask them to step aside. And I wouldn't be rude about it, but it's just because I know that we're in a good atmosphere and we pushing to stay in a good atmosphere. And God is love. And if we could just love our neighbors and treat them all the same, it'd be great. So I'm going to let my wife tell you about how we keep this ministry running and how things work. So I'll just tell you my part, but she'll tell you how this whole thing works and how we keep it running. But if you guys have any questions later when she gets done talking, I'll be happy to answer.
See, I just kissed him. We don't have problems. Well, none of that. Anyway, good evening. Thanks for having us. I'm his sidekick. And whatever he needs, that's what I do. Fill the Pot Ministry, I would say for those of you, business and starting business, and I've met some amazing young adults here that have business started, and I've listened to your dreams, your visions, your hope. Some of you have presented your art and your designs and your business to me, and I'm looking like, wow. So, and I'm 52 years old, I'm sitting here going, I'm like behind on some stuff. So one of the things I love about the millennials, be honest with you, is that you guys go and you just go and you get. And the opportunities that's set before you, that sometimes you go in, you're like, there's no limits. A lot of opportunities you have, we didn't have those opportunities, but not that we're starting off slow. I believe we're right where we need to be at this point in our life, but I enjoy the energy, the drive that you bring to the table, the diversity, the culture, the mindset, because I believe that this particular era of life is meant for you guys to help us shift into something that's better, bigger, stronger. And so I appreciate that. And I know a lot of times the millennial age group get a lot of backlash of they do this, they don't do that. And me being our age can probably kind of go, yeah, but when I look at what has happened in our country as a whole, when I've seen things take place in our city, even in Utah and other states, and it's like you can't do anything but tip your hats to you guys for what you bring to the table. So I appreciate that, first of all, because it actually gives us drive. And it makes us move, and it opens our minds and broadens our horizons, because sometimes we can kind of be a little closed-minded, and we are conditioned, and we think our way is the only way, and it works. And we've learned that sometimes it just don't work that way. So that's appreciated, and I have gratitude for that. But things that has helped me to be successful, I would tell you for sure, is know your partner. When you go into business with someone, know your partner. I end up being his partner by default, I'll say, but you can't go wrong with me now. But I wasn't on board, and just because it just wasn't something I visualized for my future, to say I'm going to be out here, feeding the homeless and taking care and clothing and hygiene and AA classes. It just wasn't something that was for my future. But when you marry, it's a different kind of partnership. And you yoke up in a different way, you connect. So I would say when you come to your business, know your partner. And sometimes, like he said earlier, you have ups and downs, but when you guys are both on the same page and you're in the same direction, and not that you can't have differences. Differences can be like, I think we should mix it this way or mix it that way. Differences shouldn't be that, I think we should treat a person this way, we shouldn't do that. So nothing wrong with that, but know your partner, know your partner's heart, know your partner's vision, know your partner's dream, know what your partner thinks for the most part, and make sure that whatever you present, that you guys are on the same page. He and I both, a lot of times, he'll tell you, I'll say, oh, I wouldn't do it that way. He'll go, well, I'm going to do it this way. I'm like, I don't. But we both know no matter what takes place, we have the same vision. And we're gearing towards the same outcome. And our mission does not change. And then when the doors close, we might look at each other and go, okay, whew, all right. But it works for the people. It works for our audience. It works for the ones that we're trying to take care of. So, and again, know your audience. Where you setting up shop at. If you say, I'm going to, like you said, taco, I'm going to do a taco truck, but you set up in the desert, it's not going to work. So you have to know your audience, know who you're gearing towards, and also be fair. And he said, be kind. Being kind goes a long way. Working with the public is tough. You have to have thick skin. You really do. You have to know what you're called to do. Work with the public is tough, but know your audience. Know your location. And if you build your business based on your friends' thinking or your friend's pocket or your family's going to buy all your T-shirts, whatever they're going to purchase from you, you're heading down a street that's you're not going to be successful, because those people are only 10 people deep, and they're not going to get there at all. So know your audience, know your people, know your partner, know who you're targeting, know what your product is, and know that if you can sell it. Know your competition. Look around and say, hey, who else is doing this? And it's okay if someone else is doing the same thing you do. They have several grocery stores. They have I love grape soda. They have Fanta. They have Crush, BK. I guess that's in the store. So they have different kind of grape sodas, but someone said, I can make it also and probably do it better. I'll change the taste just a little bit because there may be someone like Toni who likes it. So know your product and look at what you're giving to the people. And be fair across the board. And I say fair, not just because I'm black, well, that could be it. Hold on. Well, yeah, because, but it affects people. And I can use that because we work with the homeless, not just the homeless people who are less fortunate. And then you see it on the video, we have all walks of life, all cultures, all ages, all sizes. And people come in, and sometimes they're just in a bad spot. They might not look like you and I. They may not smell like the two of us. They just having a moment, and we have to be honest with you and go, if I give you one, I have to give you one. If I say no to you, I have to say no to you. If I say yes to you, I have to say yes to you. Because people are watching. You ever been somewhere and they'll say, oh, I want ice cream. Well, we give you 2 scoops for $1. And then I'm behind them listening and go, I want ice cream, give me 2 scoops. They go, that's $2. Wait a minute. You just told the person up there it was $1. Well, I don't know. So people hear that. Know your audience. Be fair. Know your heart. And think about what you're doing. Every business is not for everyone, but there's someone and a few people out there that will actually help your business grow and be successful. So I would just say know who you are, know your audience, know your heart, know what you're gearing towards, know your partner. And I think those are so important. Like he said about me, even if we don't always agree, I'm going to show up. You have to have a partner that's going to show up, guys, no matter what. If you text them or get on the phone the night before and they say something you don't like or you say something you don't like, you need to show yourself up at work that next day. The partner must show up because that's business, that's dedication. That's what partnership looks like. You might go, when you see them, but when the doors open, we work well, we rub elbows together. If they don't show up, it's time to have a meeting of the minds.
If you don't show up because you're in your feelings, success is not on your side. You have to kind of check yourself, learn, like he said earlier, to be happy. Be happy in what you're doing. And you keep going, and it's like a medicine, I promise you that, and you feel good. And we go to Fill the Pot Ministry sometimes. I think I quit like almost every week, he'll tell you. I'm like, okay, I quit. I've been doing this for this many years, so I'm not going out there. Then when I get in the door and I see people, and I see the need, and I see the atmosphere, and I see the faces, and I meet the people like Mike over here, and they become long-term friends. And it's so worth me getting up every day to go down to make a difference. I love rubbing elbows with people. You have to know if you're going to be somebody behind the scenes, working on the computer. If you're not a people person, don't go open a shop. If you know you're a people person, don't sit at home, but go out and market well and market you. Get into your territory. Know yourself. Don't sell yourself. The worst thing you can do is do something that you know you're really not called to do. Just because you're good at drawing doesn't mean you want to be an artist. It could be a hobby. But what do you know that fires you up? What do you know that that's a need? What do you know that you're good at making or doing, or you're good at networking? You're good at talking to people. You're good at making people feel happy. You're good at saying it's okay or taking care of somebody. Get into that field. Know who you are. Be honest with yourself. And another thing I would say about being successful is be kind to your old self. When I say that, I don't mean by age, but as you grow in this world, there's a lot of failures. There's a lot of things that happen, a lot of mishaps. You feel down on yourself. You don't feel good. You failed again. I can't make it. I can't do it. I'm so dumb. This is not going to work. I should have listened to them. That's why my last partner left. I don't know. Maybe it's not just for me. Be kind to your old self. Give yourself a break. Guys, life happens. Give yourself a break. Tell yourself, it's okay. We got this. Sometimes there's no one to encourage us, like not one person. If you talk to people we knew years ago, we probably shouldn't be standing here 15 years later. But you have to learn to encourage yourself. If you're looking for the next person to encourage you to get up the next day, to be successful, even in your own mind, your own heart, you're not going to make it. Encourage yourself, guys. That's how it works. You look for your parents to go, I see it, you got it. Sometimes you just don't see it. Encourage yourself. Not with anger. You have to be like, I'll show them. No, you got this. Encourage yourself. Be kind to your old self. Help your new self to grow and evolve as a better person. Be the change you want to see. You want to be successful, think successful. Don't think broken. Think I got this. Think you go. Think I'm going to go with no one else. And stay focused. I'm not kidding. We could have been doomed, I promise you that, especially during the time frame of COVID and things like that, but we just stayed focused. And he talked about, I said he was going to get arrested. I'll tell you that. Yes, because when COVID first hit here, fear across the country hit us. Myself, everyone, we didn't have a clue what was happening. People was dropping dead. People were in the house. There was a big shutdown, lockdown, curfew. And so this man said, I'm going to go feed the homeless. I was like, do you know it's a lockdown? There's a curfew. People are dying. So fear set in. And I said, oh, you're going to die. You go out there and go to jail if one or the other. And I did. Because I was like, I'm not going. And so then he said, well, people are hungry during COVID. I'm like, I guess that makes a point. Well, no. So he got up and he went. And he got up that morning, left the house around 5 in the morning. And then I was like, oh, shucks, this thing called marriage. I guess I better go. I guess we'll be dying together, going to jail. That's not what I told him. I got there, and I was like, well, I'm here. Guess we're going to die together. And he's like, good morning to you too, Ragsdale. I'm like, okay. So, but I really, remember I said, your partner needs to show up no matter what takes place. I showed up for him, and I showed up for the purpose, the mission, the cause. And no, we did not get arrested and go to jail. Because we're still standing here. Maybe they haven't caught us yet. I don't know. But we did not. It was scary. It was tough. It was hard. But he stayed focused. And me being his partner, I yoked up with him. I connected with him. And I said, I'm going with you. I'm not telling you if your partner walk off a cliff, you do it too. You're like, oh, that's kind of steep. I guess he made it. I don't know. But I'm saying, know your partner. Know their heart. Know their drive. Know their commitment. And I don't know if he actually knew I would show up or not. But even if no one else goes, you go. And then when your partners show up, you just kind of go, okay, I see you. I got this. That's when you know that you're both on the same track. So is it easy? No. Some things can kind of stop and it hits you right there and you got it. Sometimes the journey, the traveling, the time, the hiccups, the hurdles, they're all just stories to tell just like we're doing. And then you're going to be able to help somebody else to do better and say, you got this. And tell somebody else one day, girl or my friend, encourage yourself. One day you're going to stand by yourself, no one else is around. But if you want it, you have to go for it. People are not going to hand it to you. They're not supposed to. And if they do, you take care of it. And you go and you do the right thing. So for us, it's been successful. It's been great. It's been tough. It's been hard. It's been discouraging. But for the most part, we stand 15 years. The doors are still open. And we have the best organization, I promise you that. In Utah, I don't know what other states do, in the whole world. I'll say that. In the whole world, we have the best organization. The energy is one great big melting pot. Anyone can come. We don't care about what religion you are, what color you are. We're not saying, do you believe this, do you believe that? We're just saying, where's your heart? We're on the same mission here. You want to help your community, come in. This is where we start at. So again, offer an opportunity for everyone if possible. Be fair, be kind, know your partner, and be open to people. And so you'll go a long way. And also don't forget, encourage yourself. Thank you, guys.
Encourage yourself.
I guess it's question time. We'll do our best.
Got any questions? Go ahead.
What would you say your motivation is to keep giving back, even though you may not necessarily be getting, I guess, like a monetary reward, or not necessarily, I guess.
We're not. We're broke. Like, no, really. Not just kidding.
That's a good question. It's rewarding. It's rewarding. It's really rewarding. It's just knowing that you can help somebody else, help somebody to get through whatever they're going through. I always say this, is that no matter what we go through in life, if we go on, I call things that we go through a storm. And I always say, if somebody else is going through a storm or I'm going through a storm, I try to learn something as I go through the storm. That way I can be able to help somebody. And I just, why not help somebody? Why not really give back and help someone? I just truly believe that I was just called to really help and give back. I don't have nothing, but I give what I have.
And just to go back off your question also, yeah, monetary, we both work full-time jobs, we do. But the reward for me is knowing I help somebody. I love my community, I love my state, and there's a need. So I believe when you have a calling, a mission, a vision, or a business, when you love it, even if we want to receive money, we want you guys staring at your parents forever. But when you receive money, that's another part of it. But knowing what you do, you love, I don't even think you could put a price tag on that.
Anybody else? Ladies first.
I just have like a question about logistics. How does it work, or how did you start being able to gather that much food to feed 600 people, this many times, over and over? Where does it come from, and how does it work? I guess, I don't know.
Volunteers. Truly volunteers. It's just that we talk to people. And we talk to people, and people see what we do, and a lot of, just the heart of Utah, truly. It just give back and help. And that's basically how we get, that's how we keep our doors open.
When we say the heart of Utah, we mean the people before us, the people that come down and volunteer. So that's a really good question, like, how do you do all this? And so feeding that many people, but our city, our state is so amazing. First, it started with me cooking. And then it was at that point, it was like, no, you won't. It was like about maybe 10 people, so I can feed that many people, or 15 or 20. And as it grew, people started hearing about us we were attending Calvary Baptist Church then. So we're like, how can we help you? So they became sponsors of helping cook food. And then we would cook so much food. And then Bishop Storehouse with the LDS Church heard about us, and then they were like, okay, we can give you a grant for so much money, so we get all our meats and eggs, 'cause eggs are so expensive. So we get a lot of our foods and stuff from them, and then the other items we just go to Costco and get. And so that's how we get our food. That's how we are able to feed those many people. And we cook 99% of our food on location.
Yes.
Every morning. Yeah, and it works. And somebody had which way? I'm
Back
sorry.
here in the brown coat. Yeah, that's tough.
I don't have patience for that. You probably could tell. He does.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I do. And I have a little patience because I know we don't pay our people, okay? And I know that they show up because of their love, but you gotta have patience. I got like a partner here that, always says she ain't gonna show up, but she show up. No, you know what? You gotta let them know that you care about them.
That's true.
The main thing, if they don't always show up on time, I don't go chew them out. I want to know what's going on. What's going on in your life? What happened? So sometimes we just got to let people know that we care. And when they do show up, instead of jumping on them, let's give them a hug and say, hey, you know what? Let's work on this.
If that doesn't work, then you jump on them. No, just kidding.
No, but that's what I have learned. Because, I worked construction for a long time, and I was that big boss that ran around, and I was right there in your face. Hey, you didn't show up. Why you ain't here? We had to get this job done, blah, blah, blah. And I realized that didn't work. I was tearing people down instead of building people up. And I think we just have to build up the people that we work with.
And I would say also to that, as far as me being a manager myself at a department, is that try to get the reason why they're not showing up and let them know how important they are. And when you're not here, what happens and how it affects the company. And then maybe say if you need an extra day or two, mental health, they call it mental health days these days, to stop for a minute and come back better, I'll give you that. But when you come back, let's talk about if there's something you want to do. Help them to be honest with themselves. Are you having a hard time? You're struggling? You don't want to do this anymore? Take a day or two, think about it, and then let's talk face to face, you and I, and figure out where we're going from this direction. Because you only can take that for so long, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Go ahead.
You? No, just kidding.
No, we do a lot of shopping. I'm the food guy that does the shopping. So one of the ways that Fill the Pot actually works is that sometimes the volunteers will come out, and we don't ask, but if they like what they see, and you might leave us a check, and we'll take that check, and I guarantee you that 100% of that check, we take it, and we shop for the next week. And that's how we get food.
Right. And also, look at you networking.
See?
I like that.
That's how Fill the Pot works.
Networking already. Who would have thought?
Yeah. and that's how it works. I mean, that's good, man. Of course, that's one person helping one person, helping one person.
True.
And that's what makes a change in this world.
True. Over here
Thank
really
you.
Quick.
And I'll call you for sure.
Over here really quick and then.
Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Oh, go ahead. Good questions.
And you're talking about it in the beginning.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. The whole process. Well, in the beginning.
Good questions.
That's a good question. Because in the beginning, I was in the park walking, and I was just talking to people. I didn't have anything. And honestly, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what my plan was. I didn't know what my calling was. I didn't know what God called me to do in the beginning. I knew that I wanted to help. I knew that I wanted to make a change. But I was just in there. I guess I was going to school for a couple days or a couple months in there. And I was just walking around in that park, and I was just like talking to people, random people, and just seeing what their needs was, trying to figure out their needs. And then once I got it, it clicked in my head and I go, I got it. I know what the needs is. I know what I need to do to help these people get on their feet. And once I got that, man, that's when I started running. And that's when I said I would tell you that story about her. Because we had 13 kids in our house. 13 people. And when I realized what I was going to do and how, and I realized what it was going to take for me to do this, I had to go to her. And we were sitting in the living room one day. It was eating. She made a really good soup. She makes the best soup in the world. And we were eating soup, and I was like, I can take that pot of soup and go take care of my people this weekend, this Sunday, right? And that's how it became Fill the Pot. So I asked her, I said, honey, will you make a pot of soup? No. Honey, what we're going to do? She go, we got 13 people in our house. And she wasn't on board at the time because she was saying that we have 13 people. How are we going to go feed the homeless and we barely can feed ourselves? We had 13 kids. My brother had passed away at that time. Her sister was ill, and we had her kids in the house. And even though she said no, I was not going to kill my dream because now I got it. I'm fired up. I'm ready to make this happen. I'm ready to do this, I'm like, whatever it costs. But so she said no, and then I asked her, give me the recipe. I'll make some, because I'm going to make exactly what I just ate, and I'm going to give it to you. And that's what I was thinking. So she made the soup. She made some red water. She made red water. So I tasted. I go, what is this? And I said, I will not give this to those people out there, because I believe if we give our best, God will take care of the rest. And so I was like, no, this ain't gonna happen. Give me the recipe, and like I was gonna cook it. But after 20 minutes of talking and fussing, and she made the first bowl of soup, and it was just like the soup I ate. And ever since then, everything that we serve at Fill the Pot Ministry is good. I taste everything. I should be 300 plus pounds, but I taste everything. And the reason why I do that, because I believe that everybody should have something good quality. Why give people junk just to make a buck or just to say I'm doing something? Right. I don't believe in that. I believe in giving my best. And I'll tell everybody, I give them my best, and I just sit back and let God take care of the rest, because I know He will provide for us. And so to answer your question, once we got that good bowl of soup, which we should have started out with the bad bowl, but we got the good bowl, and we started getting more people. And people just started flocking in, and that's how it took off. Just a dream and a bowl of soup, good bowl of soup.
Good bowl of soup.
What was your biggest challenge in this process, and how did you overcome it?
One of our biggest challenges was with the city and the county, and it was rough. Every time I went into the park, and I was kind of dressed like I'm dressed now, because I had to go to the park and go to church, almost going to jail. It was really tough. I think the cops thought I was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
In the beginning. You think about it. I'm out walking around the park, and I'm handing people like little Tic Tacs and gums. So there was many weekends I end up in the backseat of a police car, and they're going to check me out and see who I am. And then eventually they just left me alone. But it was a tough challenge, because after that, they made us jump through a lot of hoops.
Yeah.
We had to get all our permits. We had to make sure that we had gone to the classes and everything like that. The legal part was the toughest part for us. Then after that, it got pretty easy.
Then it got cold. That was tough for me. I don't do well in cold. Yeah. What was tough for me is believing that my partner vision, mission, a dream was actually something that was real, because I thought he was just mourning the death of his brother, and probably, of course, so. And so I was looking like, is this going to stop? He's still crying. We doing this again? I don't know. So that was hard for me to believe that this was actually something that he was going to do for us and it was going to go on for years and years and years. So that's why I say know your partner, and know that your partner and you are on the same track. They might not see everything you see, but they have to believe in the vision.
Right.
And so mine was, I believed in the man, and I wanted to make sure that he was okay and successful. So even if your partner believed in you, they have to be able to be on the same track and be able to follow. So yeah.
Yes, sir. One more question.
Oh, over here.
Go ahead. We did it. We were able to get some laptops, and the deal with that ended up with is COVID came in and they kind of shut that whole thing down for us. Now we're getting it fired back up, but we still need some volunteers that have that knowledge in that field, because that's not for us. Yeah, I mean, not for me. I'm not very good at it. So we need to start back figuring out somebody that can actually help us get that up and running again.
Like resumes?
Resume. Oh, see, that's so you got to have a good
That's why
partner.
you got to have a partner like
No,
that.
but in the resumes and applications, and so we need someone actually to truly help us in that field to start us back up, get us back going on, because the person that we did have is no longer with us. And so it's kind of hard. I mean, I'm 60. I don't play that computer game that well, but I'm learning.
Yeah, so the Resource Center basically is like almost like a job employment to help people get on their feet. And like I was saying earlier in the video, some people have the skill set, but they just are not good at filling out applications. And if you see an application with something spelled wrong or the writing's not legible, people throw them away. But if they can get their foot in the door, then a lot of times they can get a job. So it's a resource center to help people be able to fill out applications, or if they I need to get a GED, people are helping with math and things like that. So that's the center area. And we have a few people right now that we're working with that wants to come in. They're both retired professors from the University, Utah. And then they are going to come and help set up a program to do those things. Okay?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you guys so much.